We're really excited to be a part of Vallit Advisors, where we're a group of leading experts, some might even say top minds in the industry, providing dispute consulting, business valuation, and forensic accounting services. The conference that we attended is the Maryland Association of Certified Public Accountants Forensic and Valuation Services Conference. It's an annual conference they do every year. We had about, I guess, 50 to 60 people there this year.
We presented, filled about an hour of the presentation talking about the Statement of Standards for Forensic Services.
You know, the existing code of professional conduct that the all CPAs need to abide by cover a lot of different things, and a couple of those things are conflict of interest, contingent fees. You know, those are specifically identified in these new standards. It goes a little deeper to kind of explain, you know, in a forensic setting. You know, so I would say that we really did have to dig deep into the code of conduct to really understand where they were going with these things.
The AICPA created another committee called the Forensic and Valuation Services Executive Committee, and it consisted of about 10 members who are from all across the country who really work together to create these standards. They've actually been working on them for about 3 years now, and they have released a draft version of it, which was back in December of last year, but they've gotten a lot of feedback from professionals in the industry. So they've taken all that feedback and created an updated version of them, so now they're going to be released in June with an official adoption date of January. And it's important to understand that these standards are only applying when there are litigation or investigation and types of engagements that you're working on. It's not really based on consulting, because there's a separate set of standards for consulting services, but anything that has to do with being debatable or in the court of law, these standards are going to apply, and you need to make sure that you're looking at them.
Right. It defines forensic services in such a broad way that it really covers, you know, pretty much any service that you're going to be providing that could be considered either litigation or investigation. It really focuses on the purpose of the service rather than the type of service you're providing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I would say the standards apply to anyone who's a member of the AICPA. You know, pretty much all CPAs. So they had existing standards for consulting services, they have a code of conduct, and they covered business valuations already, but they didn't have anything that specifically identified forensic services.
No.
So they wanted to make sure that they had something that would define those services and give a CPA a set of standards that they can say they're complying with. We've always had our own very high standards internally for these types of services.
Ethical guidelines, that kind of stuff.
Exactly, exactly. But you know, now we actually have something in writing that when we're asked under oath, we can say we follow these guidelines or these standards that have been imposed by the AICPA.
We've seen in some reports that have been released that the forensic accounting services has really grown over the past 5 years. There's people looking for these types of services to be completed. So the AICPA and the executive committee felt that creating a generalized set of standards would provide some consistency and generality for everyone to follow and go along, instead of everyone kind of doing their own thing.
Right. There's been a huge influx of people within the accounting profession in general just getting into forensic services or consulting services in some form or another.
Right.
You know, as the world changes and there's going to be less need for things that can be done by computers, I think we're going to see a lot more people joining the profession.
I think one of the main takeaways from these standards, especially for our client purposes, is that they really focus on making sure that your client is aware of all the communication and the parts of the engagement as it goes along, to make sure that there's nothing that's kind of hidden that you're not really thinking about, and making sure that they're aware of any conflicts of interest, that they make sure that they are known about, any changes in the engagement, whether the service changed or anything like that. They also have kind of pinpointed in the standards that it's important to make the client aware of that going forward. These standards have officially been released June 1st of 2019. There's going to be a copy of the presentation and the new Statement of Standards for Forensic Services available in our new section of our website, News and Resources, for you guys to look at.
Yeah, be sure to check them out. And if you have any questions about the new forensic service standards, feel free to reach out to myself or Nicole. We can answer any questions you have, or maybe point you in the right direction. Our contact information is listed on the website, so we'll look forward to hearing from you.